El Camino del Diablo, one of the most infamous roads in the United States.
Oh my god, that was a tarantula on the road. Oh my, that was huge.
Today, I attempt to drive this 150-mile off-road trail that runs along the US-Mexican border.
Something's off. It's squealing and whining.
This right there is unexploded ordnance, all alone.
Do not travel alone. Well, the infamous Devil's Highway. Here we come.
First, essential prep. I filled up the tank at the last gas station in Ajo, got some spare fuel too, just in case, and grabbed a whole bunch of water and food, of course, because there would be no services or infrastructure for the next 3 days.
Before you start driving the Camino del Diablo, you actually have to check in, and then when you leave, you have to check out. It's basically like a safety measure, I suppose. So this is probably one of the last spots where I'll have internet for the next couple of days. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that and register and check in and make sure that I am following all the rules, because this is a pretty serious place, you know? All done, I think we're good to go. This is exciting. You excited? I don't think you're as excited as I am. Let's go!
This road is no joke. With a name like that, it translates to the Devil's Highway. El Camino del Diablo definitely made me feel nervous.
I really need to pee though. But there's nobody around. So I'll just go behind this bush.
It's a 150-mile off-road trail connecting Ajo and Yuma in Arizona. You can only drive it in a high-clearance 4x4 vehicle.
Do not travel alone. So seeing that sign kind of reminds me of all the risks and dangers involved in actually crossing the Camino del Diablo. So, you know, you could find yourself running out of fuel or water along the way. You could break down or get stuck in a really remote area with no help and no cell signal. It's a desert, so risk of heat stroke, but also flash flooding. That's a big one. There's also, you know, plenty of unexploded bombs and other explosive materials all around here because it's a military base and it's an active military base. There's all the venomous scorpions and snakes that you find in the desert, and of course there's the people. So, you know, there's human traffickers and drug smugglers out here. I'm not concerned at all about, you know, just normal people trying to immigrate to the US, trying to find their way to a better life. I don't think that they are a danger at all, and I don't think they should be seen as such. But there's actual criminals out here too, like smugglers and human traffickers. So there's a lot. There's a lot to be worried about. But, you know, it's part of the adventure, isn't it?
The road itself runs along the US-Mexican border, cutting across the hostile Sonoran Desert. Yes, the same desert that's become infamous for human trafficking and drug smuggling on one of the world's most sensitive borders. The trail passes through an active military range as well, and you need a special permit to enter it because they literally test bombs out here. I had to watch an instructional video that told me all about the risks involved.
The Goldwater Range East is used daily for aircrew instruction in the use of aerial bombs, rockets, missiles, gunnery, and targeting lasers and other military training and operations. Some unexploded ordnance found on the range contains high explosives and can be lethal over a very large area.
And sign a form assuming all responsibility for any injury, bodily harm, or death that may befall me on this trip.
This might just be the most difficult quiz I have ever answered.
Okay, I've just added one more thing to my list of worries. Those clouds are not looking great. They're looking pretty dark and ominous. And of course, I looked up the weather before coming out here, and it said could be cloudy, probably no rain though. I really hope there's no rain, because rain could make the whole road completely impassable. And obviously flash floods are no joke. That was the US Border Patrol.
60 miles ahead of me today. That would be a quick jaunt on a highway, but on tracks like these, it's going to take me about 4 hours. Well, maybe a bit more if you count each filming stop.
Okay, so this is, I think, the real beginning of the Camino del Diablo. Where are we right now? Here, I believe. So I need to make sure that I register. This I need to keep in the car in a visible spot at all times. I'm just gonna put it next to Garfield. There you go. And then this other one goes in the box. All clear. You wanna party? Okay, let's go. Let's go party. Blah, 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 blah. Good boy. Oh yes, what a good boy. Hi. Hi. Hi, good boy. Ah, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, go party. Go party. The desert is your oyster. And it looks like the weather is getting worse pretty quickly. So suddenly the wind has really picked up and it's starting to drizzle. And the clouds are just very, very heavy. This is not good news. I'm just gonna see if we can get to the campsite today, and if the campsite looks safe and stable enough, maybe we'll stay there. If not, maybe we'll turn back. I don't know. But this is a pretty bad place to be stuck in the rain. No cell signal at this point. Nobody. Oh my god, that was a tarantula on the road. Oh my god, that was huge. Oh my god, that was massive. Yeah, you wouldn't want it either. You wouldn't want it either. You would not like it either. Oh my god, I have to stop. Why are we here? Why are we here, Milk? I don't know either. Maybe this was a bad idea. Seriously, what are the chances that you come to the desert on the one day per year when it rains? Plenty of loose sand out here, so quite easy to get stuck in conditions like this. But at least I've outrun the rain. It's great. Sound? Something's off. It's squealing and whining. Something's definitely off. And I am truly in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the desert. This is the start. This is the end. I am here. I mean, it kind of comes and goes. I don't know what it is. Right now it's gone. Now it's back. Tonight's campsite, ladies and gents. It's an actual campsite with a little table and a fire pit and a barbecue. How cute. Look at all that dust. All of it. All of this covered in dust. You know how it feels when you're like in a really beautiful situation or place or great company and you really want to enjoy it. You're supposed to enjoy it. But there's something, that tiny little thing in the back of your mind, like nagging at you, something that's stressing you out like no end. And so you just find yourself in this beautiful place and you're just like, you can't stop thinking about that little nagging, stressful thing that's inside your mind. That's exactly how I'm feeling right now. In this beautiful desert, really quite nervous about that little noise coming from Odyssey. But what the hell do you do when you get stranded in the desert? Literally stranded in the desert. What would you do? There's no cell signal here. Haven't seen anyone today apart from the border patrol. Well, I do have my Starlink, so I can connect to satellite Wi-Fi if I really need to. I do have my Garmin messenger, which means I can send emergency messages, so that's fine. So it's fine. Worst case, I'll pay $1 million to get towed away from the desert. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You're in a beautiful place. Vilk doesn't seem to care about anything much, so follow his example. Well, good morning. I was gonna record some stuff last night in bed, but I just fell asleep like that. Seems like the desert is really great for sleep. Didn't even have time to worry about, potential dangerous encounters with shady strangers in the middle of the desert, so that's good. Vilk loves kiwi. Loves it. Okay, the mission for today is to find a more beautiful campsite, to hopefully not break down, and have fun. Is that weird sound still there? Is the only way to find out is to start driving. Please, please, please be gone. Seems to be gone, so maybe it was just a rock or some sand stuck in there somewhere. That's what I'll have to assume. But we'll see. Time will tell. Woohoo! Another 60 miles to go today. It's funny how we tend to take highways and paved roads for granted. Sometimes it takes a trip out to the desert to realize just how much of a luxury it is to drive down paved roads, and how the surface you're driving on can completely change your perception of distance. Well, right now this road is taking me deeper and deeper into the mountains. This looks really, really remote. The road is getting more and more rough. This really now feels like the Devil's Highway. when you travel on the Camino del Diablo, you're not just traveling on this beautiful off-road track, you're also traveling alongside the Mexican border. And so just about a mile, not even a mile south of here, you can see the infamous wall on the border that divides the two countries. And it's kind of crazy because you just see flashes of it. This really, really tall wall cutting the desert in half, meandering its way along the mountains. And it's not just the wall, you know. The further in you go, the more you see signs telling you that there's unexploded ordnance in the desert around here. So basically there's a minefield, quite literally a minefield, between this road that I'm on, safe and sound, and the Mexican border.
The Sonoran Desert may be an epic camping spot for me and other people like me who come here for the views and the adventure. But there's another side to it too, and it's much darker. The US Border Patrol claims that 8,000 people have died in the Sonoran Desert since 1998, though the real number is probably much higher. That's one person every single day for the last 25 years. They are men and women and children and pregnant women too. All of them have paid so-called coyotes or people smugglers thousands of dollars to get taken across the border from Mexico and into the United States. Well, not exactly into the US, into this deadly desert with no guarantee of making it to safety. Most of those who die out here die from dehydration. Can you imagine the despair that would drive you to make this journey on foot? Can you imagine your wife, your daughter, your son being out here all alone in the dead of night?
On a human level, there just seems to be something fundamentally very, very wrong with that. For me, anyway.
Vil just found a new hobby. Chasing flies.
So I'm just taking a little walk into the hills that I'm camping in, and guess what I found? And this is quite sad, honestly. So there's some stuff here that looks like it was used for a mattress, maybe. And then look there, that's a cave. And this cave is mostly filled with what I assume to be goat poop. But there's a couple of tins, old tins as well. So I'm assuming that someone has stayed here before. And I'm assuming it probably wasn't a tourist. Tonight's dinner is basically can't be bothered food. Can't be bothered food is the kind of food that you can just throw into a pan, stir a little bit, and it's ready and comforting and good and simple and basic. Pasta with tomato sauce. Oh yeah, you know this one's for you, right? Sit. Touch. Shake. Good boy. Yes.
What are you doing, Vilk? Wipe! Wipe!
I want to show you guys something really wild that I found this morning while walking around here. I mean, I guess I should have known. I should have expected it. But here goes. This right there is unexploded ordnance. Or maybe exploded, I'm not sure. But that's the real deal. I don't know anything about weapons or explosives, but that to me looks like it came from a range. I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna keep walking, you know? What's up, little man? I feel like I could stay here for a really, really long time. It's just so peaceful, so beautiful, so warm. But bureaucracy is getting in the way, and I only have a few days left on my American visa, and I still have plenty of things to do and places to be, so gotta get this show on the road. Gotta get this show on the road. I feel like I've gone a weird way. It was really nice and kind of smooth, and then this.
I must have made an incorrect turn somewhere because I suddenly found myself in some really sticky territory, driving across dried out riverbeds, sandbanks, and a sea of rocks. This is all low gear territory, and I didn't much appreciate being out here alone. It's not the kind of risk you'd normally want to take, traveling here solo. I gave myself half an hour to make it out of there, and lo and behold, 3 long and shaky miles later, I was out on the other side.
Whew, well, just leaving the military range, and guess what's ahead of us? A paved road! Woo-hoo! Oh my god! Wow, paved roads. They're so smooth. They're so smooth. So nice.
I had come to drive the Camino del Diablo kind of expecting to find a place that felt scary and dangerous. And it did, but not in the ways I had expected. I was never bothered or hassled by anyone, nothing ever broke, and I experienced no threats. What's scary is just how differently you can experience a place, depending on your perspective and situation, and whether you're there to do a scenic drive or to cross the desert on foot in search of a better life.